Aloha to each and every one of you. And thank you so much, Gary, for that introduction. It always makes me feel a little uncomfortable, you know? Have you ever noticed that when people introduce you, they kind of only give you part of the story? Yeah? It's like, oh, she's so wonderful. She did this, and she did that, and she's awesome at that, and she's so great at this. And they never really give you, like, the real stuff. You know, that dirt. Hey, don't lie. I got dirt, you got dirt, we've all got dirt. What he said, what's on my bio is that, yes, I'm from Papa'iko. I went to Prince Jonah Kuhio Kalaniana Ole Elementary and Intermediate School, which I love to say really fast all the time when I was little. I did graduate from Hilo High School. But what's not on my bio is that as a kid, I was bullied for being a skinny homie girl. Go figure. I was always the sidekick. I was awkward. People called me chopsticks. I had pimples, curly hair like a lion. I never got the lead role in the play. I never got the boy. Now I do. I never got picked first on the team. And in fact, a few years ago, I came across an assignment that my English professor, or teacher, I should say, at Hilo High School, gave us when I think we were in 9th grade. It was a list of questions for ourselves. We wrote out the answers, we folded it up, and we put it into a manila envelope, sealed it, and it was called a Proust writing, and it said, do not open until 2002. I mean, a decade went by before I found this thing again and opened it. And I was heartbroken at what this young girl thought of herself. It was such an introspective moment for me to read my insecurities, the things that I just thought I had failed at so dramatically. I was only 14. I wish I could go back in time and give that girl a hug and tell her, it's gonna be okay. You are loved. Just because that boy doesn't like you, that don't mean nothing. You know, you're surrounded by love. My bio says I'm a black belt. I'm also a silver medalist at the National Junior Olympics. Yeah. But my bio doesn't tell you that I flunked my yellow belt test. Yep, 5 years old, still remember it. At the National Junior Olympics, there were only 2 people in my division. Silver medalist. I might not even be a black belt today because I was, as I said, so, insecure. I don't know if it was an overabundance of humility or my insecurities that I didn't allow my sensei to test me for years. It's like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready, I'm not ready. One day, I magically got a black belt. He had tested me in secret. Who does that? And then it wasn't until years later, that I received in a care package my actual black belt. In Japanese martial arts, your actual black belt, the first dan, it has Japanese characters on it, and you get a certificate. And it came with this letter from my female sensei saying, I am so sorry that you did not get this when you should have. I had no idea that I was actually overcoming challenges in my sleep, I suppose, because there is deep-rooted discrimination against women in Japanese martial arts. And that's why I didn't get my black belt till 3 years later. My bio says, I was valedictorian, Hilo High, 2000. I was a Regent Scholar at University of Hawaii at Manoa, but it doesn't tell you there were also 7 other valedictorians. I was so stressed out, I lost my voice the day before the 7 valedictorians gave their speech at the Edith Kanakaole Stadium, and I sounded like this the whole time that I gave my speech. I had the most serious case of senioritis, so I'm a valedictorian, and I got a C in AP Calculus my last quarter. So embarrassed about that. I didn't apply to UH until the very last day, the scholarship, Regent Scholarship, or even to the university, because my guidance counselor, we used to call her Ma, it's a couple of you that probably know Ma, and she put her hand on my bag while I was doing other applications. She says, Malika, I know you're going to Stanford, but maybe you should apply for the Regent Scholarship at UH, just the last day, you know, because you need, just in case, for a backup plan. And as I was receiving wait list letters, and I'm sorry, you have not been accepted to Stanford letters, I got my Regent Scholarship notification, and that I'd gotten into UH Manoa. At the time, I was so disappointed. I didn't get in, I was a mess. I didn't get into any of the schools I wanted to go to, and everyone expected me to. And I was so disappointed in myself. I felt like I was letting people down. And looking back, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, to stay here in Hawaii. My bio says I'm a singer. I've even recorded a couple things. You wouldn't have heard them, they're not that good. But my first time on stage, and Wailana actually has been on stage with me at Hilo High. My first time on stage, I realized I have stage fright. I had no idea. I went backstage and cried for 20 minutes. People had to comfort me. When I perform, my anxiety is so high that I literally shake. So as Miss Hawaii, I sang the national anthem once. It was a Linda Lingle fundraiser or something. A bunch of us Miss Hawaiis had to perform. And a friend of mine came backstage after, and she was, oh, you did such a good job. But you know, I thought there was a draft in the room because your dress was moving, and then I realized it was your legs. I'm literally doing Tahitian when I sing most of the time. I was the lead singer of a band in college, yes, but that doesn't really get you friends. And I didn't realize that because I was always the sidekick. And so for the first time in my life, I was in front of people and open to judgment and criticism. And I dealt with, you know, some jealousy, rumors. One of the first songs I wrote was called Rumors. Let's see if I can remember how it goes. What am I? Do you know? To you am I a surfer, a rocker, a hoe? Don't judge me, I was in college. My bio says that I was the weekend meteorologist for Hawaii News Now, 5 years. But it doesn't tell you that I went through 4, 5, 6 interviews, and they never really give me a straight answer. They actually let me go for a couple months. I thought, oh, there's no way I'm getting anything with them. My first audition was a disaster. Okay, I get this email from my then future boss. And he says, okay, well, you can come in. I'd like you to write a 30-second video from this AP press release and all these instructions. And I write back, what is an AP press release? What's a video? About how long is 30 seconds? Could you give me an example? What, et cetera, et cetera. He actually still let me come in and audition. Amazing. I get there, and Keahi Tucker is my co-anchor. I went, what? Hello, I'm an elementary French teacher at the time, you know, just graduated from college, and they're having Keahi Tucker sit next to me at the news desk? I was floored, totally starstruck. And then I'm supposed to read this terrible script that I wrote in the prompter. I mean, a complete disaster. I wish I still had the tapes. No, I don't. No, I don't. And then they tell me, okay, do weather. So I'm going, I know nothing about weather. Not a single thing. And the weather wall is backwards. I never knew, who knows how to use a weather wall? I mean, come on, it's not something you grew up knowing how to do. So I get up in front of the weather wall, and does anyone remember Jeff Booth? He was like this tall Ohio guy, lanky, goofy, but hilarious and super awesome. So first time I meet this guy, he's sitting literally where Susan is. And I'm in front of the weather wall, and there's 2 television screens on either side, and then the camera's in front of you, and it's backwards. So if I do this, it's doing this to me. So I'm in front of the wall, and they're recording, which I'm totally oblivious to, and Jeff is sitting there, and I go, Jeff, what's that? And he says, Windward and Malika showers.
Windward and Malika showers?
Jem, what's that? What's that? Satellite.
Satellite. Clouds are moving in.
And then surf came on, and I kind of turned on for a little bit, but literally disaster. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Live TV, they don't tell you that in live TV, you're bound to screw up. And boy, did I in my first year. I still remember this one time, you know, the weather ball's backwards, but I thought it was backwards from backwards, and I looked completely confused, and I didn't have the presence of mind to step off screen, mind you, which would have been the easiest solution. No. I stand in front of the screen like this. I literally did that for 2.5 minutes. I came off and I went, Stacy Lowe was the anchor. I'm like, Stacy, something's wrong with the weather wall. And they tried to find out what was wrong, and there was nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with it. It was in my head. Crazy. My parents called me and they were like, that was terrible. What happened? I said, I don't know. It was backwards from backwards. Someone needs to fix that thing. It's my brain. What they don't tell you is that I resigned from news because my life-work balance just wasn't working out anymore. My bio says I was Miss Hawaii 10 years ago and voted Miss Congeniality. Both amazing, wonderful experiences, but it doesn't mention that I did not win the first time. It doesn't mention that I was so depressed, not because I was Miss Hawaii or because I didn't become Miss America, but because I was actually on medication for acne, and the side effect was depression. So here's this person that's supposed to be in her glory days with her crown on her head and doing glamorous events, and I'm literally sitting in my room with the curtains drawn. I have to say, I think I did that for like a couple days straight once, just because I was so down. It doesn't tell you that I was so poor that I had to call up my friends and say, can you invite me to an event so I could eat dinner? It doesn't tell you that the spotlight opens you up to criticism. Constructive criticism, say that 5 times fast, is tough enough, right? But it also opens you up to unnecessary judgment. We all get it. When you're in the spotlight, it's tenfold. Preconceived notions, stereotypes, and the reason I'm sharing all of this is the theme tonight is be the best you can be. But I think it's less about the things that are on your resume, the things that are on your bio, and it's more about the things in between. It's about the tough stuff, reading between the lines of your bio, and realizing that the stuff we really should be reflecting on is those things that aren't there. It's the struggles, it's the challenges, it's those tough times. And those are the times that build character and really make you realize what's important in life. When I went to Miss Hawaii, I don't know, some of you might know the Pudding Lassiter and Kialazol. Kialazol was my traveling companion, and if you know her, she's like an Energizer Bunny all the time. And she would tell me, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. And so every time I have a tough thing happen, I hear her voice, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. What I've realized is be the best you can be is not about perfection, and it's not about what other people think about you. They asked me to talk for 45 minutes, so this is actually me cheating. My husband, Kaimi Jed. You shut it out, but I can't hear
a word you say. I'm talking loud, not saying much. I'm criticized, but all your bullets ricochet. Shoot me down, but I get up. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. You take your aim, fire away, you shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. I am titanium. Cut me down, but it's you who have further to fall. Ghost town and haunted love. Raise your voice, sticks and stones may break my bones. I'm talking loud, not saying much. I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, ricochet. You take your aim, fire away. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. I am titanium. I am titanium. Stone heart, machine gun, firing at the ones who run. Stone heart, like bulletproof glass. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. I am titanium. I am titanium.
My husband, Brittany. Thank you. Well, I've told you a little bit about myself. I've bared my soul, if you will. Okay, Hal and Linda asked me to share how I balance my life and work, and I think there's two parts. One is prioritizing, finding out what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what brings you joy. And two is taking action, becoming motivated, and following through. I just sang for you. Music, for me, is one of those things. And I've wanted to make it priority for a very long time. I think both of us, both my husband and I, have that in common. We're getting there, so we try to make time to prioritize that and practiced and rehearsed together. On Monday, we actually sang for the Hilo Hospice event, which was very fun. Side note, my son is 2 years old, he hates it. The kid is crazy. When I start singing, he screams. It's literally, "Ma, ma, 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 ma." And then Kaimi starts singing and it's, "Da, da, 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 da," and he like gets insane. Like, you know how 2-year-olds are? It's like a mega tantrum. I mean, it's crazy. So we actually have to practice in secret. Anyway, okay, getting back to what I was saying. And I deal with stage fright. But last week, I learned the most amazing lesson. And isn't it just, it's so amazing to learn lessons when you don't know you're learning them, when it just happens. Last week at Thanksgiving, we went to Olowalu, and the family that had lived there for generations came, and there were 20 of them. And the matriarch gave the pule, and she said, "I was born and raised here, I'm 85 years old. You know, so you're getting chicken skin, we sing ho'onani all together." And an old Hawaiian man that was a part of that family, kind of taller, a little stocky, you know, dark, but with the white streaks in his hair in a ponytail. And after we had feasted, he began to sing. And the tone of his voice, I don't think I could ever put it into words. For me, it was magical. It hit me in my heart. I think most of us were tearing and crying, and we all had chicken skin. And then he had a CD, and he put it into the CD player, and he goes up in front of everyone. And you know how there's an instrumental in the beginning of a lot of songs? He literally, it was the most beautiful hula I'd ever seen in my life because of his connection. Without saying a word, through his hands and his eyes, he did this. I'm doing it terribly, but what I'm trying to say is, he was asking, through his hands and his eyes, "I have a gift for you. I'd like to give you this gift. I'd like to share it with you. Will you accept it?" And when he got his acceptance, through looking, and Julie did this earlier, through looking into that person's eyes, he said, "Mahalo." And then, when the music came on, he danced. I was floored. I'm gonna cry right now, thinking about it. And the lesson to me was that what made that moment so special is that he was making me feel special. He was making every single person that was present in that moment feel like they were a part of his ohana, like they were special. And to relate it to real estate, I suppose, in business, don't you notice that when you kind of aren't really selling, that's when you actually sell the best, right? It's when you connect and you have that genuine je ne sais quoi that happens. That's when the magic happens, right? For me, very literally, I took it to teach me a lesson of dealing with stage fright. Why do I get afraid? I'm afraid of judgment. I'm afraid of being embarrassed. What is it? Why do I love music? That old Hawaiian man and his hula and his song reminded me why I want to make music a priority in my life. It's because it brings me joy. So I need to let go of all that other stuff, and I just need to accept it and let it happen. That's what life is all about. It's about, we have this finite amount of time on earth to do stuff. And I want to focus on bringing as much joy into my life as possible. Prioritizing bringing happiness and joy. Relationships, family. For me, it's music, the ocean, adventure, travel, being outdoors, having a purpose in life, and having a purpose in other people's lives. Making those things a priority. And my son teaches me this lesson every day. He changed my entire perspective on life. I mean, it's not about me anymore, right? He's like this magical little creator of joy. So when he walks down the street, if he was to walk straight through here, he would go, hello, 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 oh, bye, hello. He's amazed by bubbles and trees and the ocean. Planes, trains, and automobiles are like the most exciting thing on earth. He literally stops to smell the flowers. And then he gives them to pretty girls. And when I take him surfing, he has this like unbridled joy. So we'll catch a wave, and when I stand him up, he goes, he literally holds it like longer than that. It's amazing. And he loves to dance. How many of us just dance in the middle of the street? Oftentimes he's naked. But his joy teaches me a lesson every day, just like that old man. That it's not just about bringing joy into our lives, it's about giving and spreading joy to others.
Get the choice to sit it out or dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just when you get the choice to sit it out or dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I'm not the best singer, but I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So to wrap up my time here with you today, I want to talk about the how I bring joy into my life, how I prioritize. And it kind of fell into my lap because I'm the most forgetful person you could meet on earth. So I write everything down. I have lists and pieces of paper and things everywhere. There's lists on my phone, on my refrigerator, you name it, there's a list somewhere. So for me, my how is I create lists. Everything from the big things all the way down to the tiny little daily minutia. And the two things, the first step is to actually get things done, you have to write it down. And number two, for me, the better I am at time management, the better I am at bringing more joy into my life and prioritizing things. John Mason, in his book, An Enemy Called Average, says that a goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. I wrote my first list of dreams in high school and I posted it, right where I could see it, and I would revisit it often. And I'm happy to say that I achieved most of those goals, not all of them, but what really helped me was breaking it down into those little bite-sized pieces. So the goal is the destination, but to get there, you have to write those little lists of the little things you need to do in order to get to that goal. When I was in college, it would be that by the end of the semester, I want to achieve this. As an adult, he'll tell you, at the beginning of every year, I'm kind of OCD about it. I have my New Year's resolutions, I have Amy's New Year's resolutions, and our family resolutions, and they're all posted on the refrigerator. And I love crossing stuff off of lists. So sometimes after I do something, I'll even add it to my list so I can cross it off. Love it. It gives me satisfaction. I feel like I've achieved something. Other lists I create, are based on my priorities. So I love to travel, and I want Kaimi to make time for that as well. His job is a lot more demanding than mine. So I take his schedule, find out where are we gonna go on vacation, when are we gonna go on vacation, and I make it happen. So I make these lists to make sure to bring joy into my life and make sure that our priorities are all there. My calendar is a list. I revisit it very often, and to make sure I'm on top of things, and I pepper in all of the little things, all the joy. So sailing on the weekends, making time to perform, time with family, visiting family here on the Big Island. I make sure all of those things are on my list. And then, of course, for work assignments and projects, you want to make lists to make sure that you're moving in the right direction and you're achieving things by your deadline. Then, of course, there's the daily to-do lists. So there's take Jackson here, clean that, make this, surf here, buy groceries, go to the post office. You get the idea. We all have those lists. So to give you just maybe something to take home, one of the acronyms that I kind of live by is making SMART goals. S, specific. M, measurable. A, articulate. This one's important. R, realistic. And T, timely. And if you encompass all of those things into your list of goals, you're much more likely to achieve them. In fact, a professor of psychology at Dominican University in California did a study on goal setting and found that 42% of the time, you're 42% more likely to achieve a goal by simply writing it down, not even just putting it away. But if you actually revisit it and do the little things to get to that goal, who knows, right? I think it's probably like 100%. I'm gonna give you a random statistic. My favorite list of all time, though, is Kaimi's to-do list. Yes. We had a particularly tough day. I mean, don't we all? And the next morning, I woke up to a list on the refrigerator on our little blackboard. And it's something that he sometimes lives by, and sometimes he has challenges with it, so that's why it's still there 2 years later. He wrote it, and there's 2 little check boxes. Imagine it. The first one has a little box. I'm not sure if they're checked yet.
They kind of get checked and then unchecked.
Yeah. I erase it and then he checks it again. And it says, be loving. Aww, isn't that sweet? And the second one, imagine that little checkbox, says, don't be an ass. It got modified along the way. I think our brother-in-law, Albert Police, chiropractor here in Kona, wrote a little carrot and put horses. Ass. But that is my favorite list of all time. And on that note, I wanted to end with a love song because everything I talked about doesn't mean anything if you don't have love and ohana. This is a song that we sang at our wedding.
So happy I melted. I fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back. Well, the fool done run and I'll be giving my best. And nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to make some learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot be. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I spent way too long checking my tongue in the mirror and bending over backwards just to try to see it clearer. But my breath fogged up the glass, so I drew the face and laughed. I guess what I'm saying, there ain't no better reason to rid yourself of vanities and just go with the season. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Please don't, please don't, please don't. There's no need to complicate. Yes, our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Do I hear a Mahalo?
do prepare hanahos, but this is such a last-minute audition. I'm like, we need to sing. I don't think my speech is long enough. But last night we performed at the brew house in Waimea, so fortunately I think we practiced something. So, does anyone know how to dance hula to palehua? Amy Hanayali'i's song? No one want to pretend? Oh, Waimea? Do you know it?
Yes, maybe.
Try it. I don't know that song. It's okay, you don't have to.
Someone else does. Up there.
Oh, hey, I